us again on another episode of Pursuing Purpose, here where we discuss career opportunities that got people towards their purpose in life, being able to discover their passions, their skills, and their interests that created them to be the person they are today. And we have Gifty. She's my sister, she's my friend, she's my mentor, and today she'll be sharing her experience in the education industry. And so today we have Gifty. Gifty, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. It's a pleasure having you here today.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad to be here, and I know that by the end of this video, you're gonna learn a lot.
Yes.
And you're gonna be empowered.
That's what we need.
Right?
I'm so happy to have you.
Yeah.
Perfect. So as I mentioned, you're in the education industry, and I was hoping we can start way back into time. If you can remember what your first experience was in the classroom, feeling empowered in that leadership role. What do you remember being that class leader, that class helper, or did you just observe?
Well, you know what? Growing up was very challenging for me, and I came from a broken home, right? And basically what happened was that I was going through a lot academically, emotionally, physically. Like, there was so much things going on because I was experiencing a lot of mental breakdown where no parent wants their parents to be apart from each other. So then when I was in that kind of situation, I realized that it's either two things. It's either I make it or break it, right? But God be so good, of course. He always brings the right people to come and help you and just kind of hold your hands while you're walking down that tunnel, right? And one teacher that I had, she would always say to me, you know what, Gifty? There is always light at the end of the tunnel, right? So that is where I wanted to start helping people because I realized that there was a lot of young people going through stuff in the schools, peer pressure, all of that stuff. So I was empowered to say, you know what? I want to help kids. I want to help the youth. How can I help them? So that's what kind of like drove me to that kind of path, to want to do what I'm doing right now.
I love that. That's perfect. Be able to take your own experience and let people know that you don't have to go through this alone and handle that. Yeah. That's great. That's perfect. And so in high school, were you able to sign on to clubs to help foster that passion?
When high school I was I was very popular. I hung out with the wrong crowd. People knew me too much. As soon as the principal calls me, oh, Gifty, come down to the office, then everyone was like, ooh, you're in trouble. Everyone knew that whenever they call me down, I'm in trouble. I wouldn't say I really joined any club. I would say I was just a very social bee. Like, I was just social with everybody. I wanted to connect with everybody. I wanted to be there for people. And that was just that's a character that was built in me already. So I would do stuff for people. I would go out of my way for people, I would fight for people. When someone's being bullied, I would be like, okay, wait, what are you doing? I'll do that. So I feel like I was a leader in my own unique way.
That's great. So, not defined by those clubs.
No, not defined by those clubs. I was a very unique leader in my own way. And I loved it. It allowed me to explore, right? And it allowed me to actually bring out the gift that was inside of me.
That's great. Perfect. Yeah. So when it came to choosing what career path you wanted to go through, did you have a counselor who was able to say, you know what, I see this in you, this would work? Or were you able to find that on your own? So at first, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to help people, but I didn't know which path, right? So I was still debating, what should I do? What should I do? So I did have like a teacher there who was guiding me and just encouraging me and stuff like that. But then I also was influenced by my friends, right? Because I remember when I told my friends I wanted to do a particular program. Oh, Gifty, you can't do it. It's not going to work. And this is where peer pressure comes in. Because the thing is, when you don't know who you are, anybody can persuade you, anyone can tell you who you should be, right? And that's not your purpose. So what happened was that I went to go tell one of my good friends, I want to do this and that, and she's like, it's not going to be good. And I actually believed her. So I went into that program, spending like a year there. I hated it. I'm not going to mention the program. I hated it. And I realized that, no, this is not me. This is not where I should go, is helping people. But I didn't feel like this is enough, right? So then I had a mentor who was guiding me and showing me some things.
And then after he was giving me other options, I started doing a lot of volunteers to kind of find out what, volunteer is good, guys. I mean, if you don't know what you want to do, volunteer in places, hospitals, whatever, right? And then I realized that, bingo.
You got it.
This is what I love. My gosh, like you actually feel it. You know what I mean?
I can't wait for that.
You actually feel it. And that's the thing. When you know your purpose, you would feel it. But when you don't know your purpose, you feel so drained, you know? And that's what happened. You become passionate about it.
That's great. So what was that role? Where was Bingo?
So it was helping children with behavioral issues.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Perfect.
So I would help them develop a plan that will help them stay focused. You know, a lot of kids are going through a lot. So a lot of the teachers out there will come and ask me for my input. How can I deal with this kid? This kid's dealing with ADHD. This kid's having issues, so on and so forth. Okay, fine. Let's develop a plan. Let's develop a safety plan, right? So my goal is to help any child that's experiencing any type of social skills, academic issues. I help them excel, get to that next level. And instead of them becoming a statistic, they become someone that will be great in the future. So that's what I do.
That's perfect. Yeah. I love that. That's what we need. So did you have that that university degree centered around that, or did you have to take your own time to research outside of
I had to take my own time to research outside. Wow. So a lot of, like I said, volunteer, a lot of connecting, networking is big as well. Basically, who you connect with is very important. So I connected with so much. I asked a lot of questions, you know, and while I'm getting collecting those data, it's actually forming me to what I must do. So that's how it went. Yeah.
That's great. Perfect. So if you don't mind, could you share some examples of how you're able to help a kid in a certain type of deficiency or or challenge that they were facing?
Well, you know what? I've worked with kids who were involved in gangs.
Oh.
When I say gangs, I'm not talking about like 18-year-olds, like maybe like 10-year-olds or so. And these kids are living in survivor mode. So my role is to go to different schools that have kids who are experiencing these issues, right? And I basically advocate for them, right? And then me and the teachers, the principals, whoever, we all sit together during like a safety plan or a plan of care, whatever it may be, and discuss how we could help this child excel. What are some of the strategies we can use? So I come with my expertise and put things together by analyzing some of the issues that the child may have. So if a child, you know, is someone that is involved in gang, right? When I say gang, I mean a lot of the older gang members, they will use that child to be the one to go sell the drugs and things like that. And it's happening, right? Yeah. So then one of my biggest thing I do, I establish a relationship. So a lot of the kids I deal with, they're like my buddies. You know, that's the first thing, because you have to establish that relationship, then you have to build trust, right? Because these kids are smart. You understand? They want to know, why should I trust you? I mean, even you want to know, for someone you meet for the first time, you want to know, why should you trust them, right? So that's what I do. And then from there, when the trust is built, the relationship is built, the foundation is solid. So now if I give suggestion to that child, the child will take it in because he trusts me, right? And they end up doing well. So I put stuff in like, okay, you know what, why don't you volunteer in this, volunteer in that. I try to build leadership in them. Okay, you can be a leader. Why don't you be a big brother? Maybe read a book to a kindergarten. Like, just develop those leadership skills to make them feel good about themselves. And to show them that your leadership skills is gearing to negativity. Why don't we kind of like drift it to positive? So it's quite interesting. So I just have to develop a plan and execute it and go from there.
That's great. I love that. Because I was thinking, like, we had a community call to speak on gang violence. There's a point in time, there's a lot of shootings going on. I think it was last year or a year and a half ago. And we spoke about how there's 10-year-olds out there and they're doing these type of things.
Exactly. It's really sad. They're doing all these things.
Exactly. It's like, how do we get them out? Because a lot of rappers we know of are in that lifestyle, and they're like, I could be making money. Why am I wasting my time doing this or so? But then they forget that the only way out is in a casket, as they say, or so. And so we don't want these young kids doing that. So it's good that we can instill those.
I mean, I've buried a lot of young people. I buried a lot of this year I buried so much people. I talk about this, it hurts me, but I'm just glad that I was able to impact them in a certain way. Unfortunately, consistency is key. So if I'm doing my job at my workplace and, the parents are not doing their job, then it doesn't work. But when I tell you I bury kids, 10-year-olds, 11-year-olds, 12, it's sad because these kids come with a lot of great things. They just need that one person, that superhero to kind of like take them to the next level. So my job is very emotionally draining. I have kids myself, so sometimes I go home and I'm drained. The stories, the death, the suicide, like it's crazy. So I have to be so mentally strong.
And what type of self-care methods do you take or do you practice to be able to revitalize?
And it's funny that you mentioned, because before I would just keep working and get burnt out. And it's not good for you mentally, physically, and emotionally. And one time I realized that, no, this has to end, because I realized that I wasn't being effective at home, right? And, my kids will notice that mommy's tired. And so then I realized that now, if I'm burnt out, I just go into the bathtub. I lit the candles. Oh my gosh. I put do not enter at my door. My kids don't bother me. They know that's mommy time. Yeah. And I love that moment. You know what I mean? I just relax, turn off my phone, because self-care is so important. And anything you do, you got to make sure you take care of you. No one's going to take care of you. Even if someone takes care of you, it's not going to be as much as when you take care of yourself.
Because you know yourself.
You know yourself. So I used to do that. And it was beautiful. Sometimes I would just go on rides. I would just drive.
Clear your head.
Oh my God. Especially the nice nature.
Exactly. It's refreshing.
Oh, I love it. I love it. And I just drive for hours. And I come home and I'm recharged.
That's good. I love that. You're ready to go.
Ready to go.
So what have you seen other people do that, of course they don't come back from your background with your expertise, but what have you seen them do that has encouraged people, and what can we do to encourage the youth and be able to help turn their circumstances around? You said we definitely need to support them.
Yeah, we definitely need to support them. For me, who you hang around with is very important. That's the first thing, right? So what I do is I hang around with people that have growth mindset, that will help me grow somehow. Because you don't want to hang around people that are just so fixed mindset, right? And those people, they're willing to help, they're willing to encourage me. I have about 15 mentors.
Wow.
Right? I have a mentor, financial mentor, marriage mentor. I have a lot of mentors. So what these kids need is mentors. That's what they need. They need consistent mentors, somebody that can hold their hand, somebody that can be with them, somebody that they can call and talk about whatever they want to talk about, because a lot of people just need that person. And that's what I have, and that's why I'm able to kind of do what I do. If I'm going through some financial difficulties, I call my financial mentor, and he'll tell me, Gifty, boom, 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 do this, do that, do that. And I'm like, okay. He'll fix me. I'm like, okay. So I even have a mentor for mental health. We need talking, in terms of taking care of myself and all that stuff. So I have a lot of mentors that I go reach out. So a lot of these young people, what we need to give back to them is they need to have mentors. There needs to be a mentor with them, guiding them. They need to have a place where they feel safe.
Definitely.
Yeah, that's it.
Definitely. And that brings me back to initiative that you were working on. You did some classroom workshops. I think I saw that on the weekends. How did that start up? And
so I don't know if you're talking about the empowerment workshop.
Yes.
Okay. So the empowerment workshop was huge success. I'm so mad that we couldn't do it this year because of Corona, but it's okay. The empowerment workshop was a huge success. We had over 150 kids. Wow. And it was free.
That's great.
We gave them free food and all of that stuff. We follow up with all of them. We have different sessions. We have self-esteem, anything that gear with social skills. And I got people who are in the field, social workers, child and youth workers, teachers, tutors, artists, I had so much people.
Whole range.
It was powerful. You know, for me, that is one way, you know, I can do to give back. No one paid for it. Everything was funded.
Wow. So with your funds, or did you get some support
with
from
my
the
funds?
community? Wow.
With my funds, right? Because, I mean, here and there a couple of people, but 90% of it was my funds,
That's
right? Cool. And it was beautiful. I don't know, did you see the video?
I saw some, and I felt it. I'm just like, if I had kids.
It was nice. And you should see, you know what was so beautiful about that workshop? A lot of the kids were able to express themselves. They made new friends. They were, like, some of them, you know, they were so creative with their hands. And I was just walking around watching. And me, I'm very observant, and I just want to go, okay, what can I do better next year? And then the corona came. Because the corona, we're expecting about 300 kids.
Oh, wow. Even double.
Double. It was big. So you don't have to wait for someone to tell you to do things. Take the initiative and find a way to impact somebody out there. That's how I did it. So
I love that.
Yeah.
That's perfect. And so was that on the weekends and during the week, or?
So that was on the weekend.
Oh, okay.
That was on the weekend. Yeah.
That's great.
It was good.
And so you mentioned you funded it by yourself. So tell us a little bit more about how you're able to afford these endeavors. I know you're a businesswoman.
It's by God's grace. You know, I give glory to God because He is the one that has provided me these resources. Number one. Number two, God has also provided me the ideas. Like, He has actually planted so much ideas in my mind. And He has made me a woman that's bold. So I take risk, you know, like, I don't think twice.
You just go for it.
I just go for it because, you know, we dream too much. Just go for it. Why? Just push it and go for it, and you'll see what would happen. But one of the things I promised was that if everything goes well for me, I will do so much in the community.
That's good.
Right? So that's why. And so the resources are there. How I did it, I just pulled from my business, or anytime I sell something, I give 50%. I put it aside towards any initiative I want to do in the future. And it keeps building. So that's how I'm able to gather the funds, right? So yeah, that's just me, right? Because I feel like we don't have time. Listen, you don't have time, right? Like 5 minutes ago, can we take that back? No, it's gone. You see, you don't have time. So time is very precious. So I wanna make sure I utilize every single second. So I don't have time to research for like a year. I will keep going. That's me.
That's great.
Yeah.
I love that. Perfect. Yeah. And so is it a lot of stress to be able to see those mistakes maybe get the best of you, or not be able to get that much of a return back?
You know what? I love mistakes. You know why I love mistakes? Because it helps you grow. You know, a baby, when they're taking the first step, what happens? They keep falling. They don't stop. And what does a baby do? They utilize the wall to navigate, right? So when I go through a moment of, you know, failure, or I know I'm seeing the failure coming, I utilize my support system, which are my mentors. You know, I go listen to like motivational stuff to charge me up, because failure can make you or break you. Okay, if you allow failure to break you, then you have failed. But if you allow failure to pick you up and mold you and continue to go, then you are a winner. Because if you look at like these rich people out there, they've gone through so much failure. But right now, we're buying off Amazon.
Yep.
Facebook is happy. Disney World is excited. KFC, we're eating like crazy and gaining weight. You understand? They went through a lot of failure.
For sure. I love that.
Yeah. I love failure. I love it because it just grooms me. Right? So yeah.
Definitely. And so can you let us know what type of things that you sell and what type of business that you have? You don't have to be too specific.
But how many? You know what? I do a lot. So let me see what I can do. Okay, so I'll talk about the buy and sell and the Airbnbs, okay? So I do buy and sell. And I was just telling Stephanie that I just don't go buy everything and sell. I do research on it. So I have a team that helps me do the research. Oh. Do you understand? So the world is changing. Things are changing, right? back in the days, I used to wear soda. You know, so those Spice Girls shoes.
Oh. But wait, were they tall heels?
Yeah, those fat thick ones. You see them now? Not really.
No.
Exactly, because the world is changing. Fashion is changing. Bell bottoms it's not big now. But back in the days, my goodness, I was like, I love bell bottoms. So you have to be creative. You know, there's a saying that when you do something, the same thing every day, every second, it's insane, right? So I do buy and sell, and I just find, okay, right now, what's going on in this world? What do people need? And then I go for it, and I sell it, and I make tons of money from it. I do a lot of networking, connect with people, collaboration. I do a lot. So, I mean, the money comes, right? Sometimes it fails, but then I said, okay, let me try something different. That's one.
That's good.
Number two.
Switch it up.
Airbnb. I love real estate. Listen, the best thing you can do is invest in a home. You understand? Invest. If you're young out there, don't say I'm too young to do it. Start now. Invest in a home, because when you invest in a home, you're building equity. You're actually, you know, creating a really solid foundation for you. So I do a lot. I do Airbnbs. I'm going to number 7. And I have them all over, Vancouver, Windsor, all over, right? So I love it. People come there, stay there. You all know what Airbnb is, right? If you want to do Airbnb, you can do rental income, right? Where people rent your space, whatever. But there is money in real estate. I'm not a real estate agent. I just see homes and I just go buy it, plant it. You know, pre-construction homes, I just get them, you know? So I'm really big on that. My whole family is actually big on that, and we get that from my mother, because my mother has like so much properties.
Wow, our parents need to learn.
My mother retired at like 50. She doesn't work, so you see, she has taught us to keep pushing. She goes, if I retire at 50, I want y'all to retire at 40.
Okay, she set the bar.
She's really, really inspirational. Like, single mother, 6 kids.
Wow.
But she did what she did. Yeah.
That's great. I love that. It's perfect. Yeah. And so I know you've learned a lot about people, old and young, through your full-time job and then your side things. Right. During this experience with your side businesses, what have you taken from the engagement with kids to be able to help you succeed with the side business and understand people?
You can never understand people. You can never understand people, but one of the things that I'm really strong on is customer service, right? Because I want them to come back to me, right? Sometimes they're wrong, but I just have to be like, okay, that's fine, you're right, right? So in this world that we're living in, you can never understand people. You can't even understand your own siblings.
For sure.
Right? So you just got to be patient, and you got to just keep pushing, right? Because I'm dealing with different kind of people, parents, business owners, investors, this and that, and you know, they all come with different personality and different needs. So how do you deal with people like that? Yeah. You need patience, you need wisdom, and you need to be creative.
Definitely. That's great. And back to helping these younger kids, were the parents willing to be able to be creative? I know a lot of parents are not happy to be told what to do, but were they a little bit more open?
Yeah, like I said in the beginning, that I'm big on establishing relationship, right? Because for me, I'm a mom. So when somebody comes and tells me things I need to do with my kids, I'm very open to it, because I'm open to learn, right? Because maybe what the person is seeing is from a different
perspective.
Exactly. So I get a lot of parents who are just like, why are you telling me what to do? I don't care. And I say, you know what, listen, we are all a team. We're doing this for your kid. And I throw it back to them and say, okay, you know what, can you teach me some of your techniques and how you deal with your child? Because you are the boss in all this. So I kind of throw it back at them so they don't feel too uncomfortable. I'm like, oh, okay, she wants to learn from me? Of course I want to learn from you. You're the mother. You know your son more than I know your son. So I would like to know some of the tricks and tips that you have, right? Because you have to come with a non-judgmental mindset, or else you're going to lose these parents. Oh, I've dealt with parents who slashed tires, got mad at me. Yeah, they were mad, slashing my tires, breaking my windows. You get parents like that.
Wow.
But I stay cool.
That's great. That's great. You definitely need a lot of patience. Wow. So it's not for the weak.
I
know. Perfect. I got you. So, just going back to what you were saying about having that mentor show you different options and allowing you to volunteer in different places. Like a lot of people don't have that patience to be able to help kids out of that situation. What type of roles were shown to you that you would appreciate and recommend to other people?
If you want to do anything in the area of helping kids, there's daycare, there is the school system, there is the juvenile. There's all these places that you can go, and then you kind of test the waters and you see where you fit. You understand? There's a lot of seminars out there, and you can also connect with somebody who is in that field and kind of get their own, like, you know, give you their own perspective of what they do and things like that. Because you can't just say, oh, I want to be a teacher, and you don't have the vim to be a teacher. Then you become a teacher that just marks and have no connection with kids, right? Maybe you're good at daycare. Maybe you're good as a camp counselor. Maybe you're good at something else. Maybe you just have to find it. You know, there's so many, like, when it comes to dealing with children and youth, the umbrella is huge, right? There's so much things you can do, but you need to find what is best. So for me, yeah, it requires a lot of creativity. But when you're working with kids, you got to be creative. So you need to learn, how can I be creative? So meaning you need to adapt.
Definitely. Adaptability.
It's very important in any field, in any workplace. You know, when you're in a workplace and something happens, how are you going to adapt? When the whole management changes, how are you going to adapt? So if you really want to help somebody and help, like, be in that kind of field where you're helping kids or youth and stuff like that, you got to be ready to adapt. Because for me, creativity wasn't my thing.
Oh, wow. I would never guess.
It wasn't. But you see, I was very social. Like, I can sit with a kid and talk to them, and they'd be like, oh, wow, I had a chill time with Gifty, right? But let me be creative. I'll be like, huh? What do I do? But as time went on, and as I kept building myself up, again, connecting with people, asking questions, reaching out, then I started to become more creative.
That's great.
And the internet is there too, with so much ideas.
Definitely, for free.
For free. So now I'm so creative. I can have a kid who has, like, a horrible experience at school, and they'll come back being okay. And I have a lot of them. I have them. A lot of them are like 18, 20 now. They call me, they talk to me, and that's what I like. I have them on my Facebook, we talk, I check up on them. The other day I went out with them for lunch, and, you know, that's what impacting does, and that's what I love to do.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's perfect. So that's great, because I was just going to say, there's going to be some setbacks, some challenges, but use your strengths. You're able to network, you're able to use your resourcefulness, see on the internet. That's something that we need to remember, that even if we have something that we're falling short of, we can offset that with something that we are good at.
It's very important, Stephanie. And one thing I will say to a lot of people, don't be afraid to ask for help.
That's key.
Even when they judge you, let them judge you.
Right? You can take that answer for free.
Exactly. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Because for me, I was a bit afraid in the beginning, and then eventually I got used to it.
That's great.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
No fears.
No fears. Be fearless, man. Walk. God has created us to be bold. Yeah.
That's great. I love it.
Yeah.
And were there some times where the boldness was not helping you? Like you did say you had some challenges with the parents. How about with the teachers themselves, or with
You know, when you're working in that kind of field, a lot of politics. A lot of politics, and especially when you're dealing with some teachers who they're not for the kids. You know, that bothers me. So I come in to advocate. Like, I'll be like, I'm like a lawyer, kid's lawyer. I come in like, no, don't do this, give this kid that. And the teachers feels a bit threatened, and it can become like a big issue, even to a point where a union can get involved. So knowing how to compose yourself and knowing when to step in and how to step in is very important, right? So I do a lot of documentation. You know, if I find a teacher is being a bit difficult, I step back, and then I find support elsewhere. Talking to the principal or talking to the trustee to gain more, you know, support around that. because there are some people out there who will throw you under the bus, and my work is a union, right?
So you're covered for that.
Yeah, but like some people just throw you under the bus and get you in trouble. So I've learned to just know how to compose myself when I'm dealing with these kind of teachers, because a lot of them, some of them, not a lot of them, they're not for the kids.
They're just there to
paycheck.
Yeah.
No, let's be real. Let's facts. And I'll be honest with you. You know, I work in this field and I know a lot of them, they're not for the kids. A lot of them, they want to just shove medication in a kid's mouth instead of coming up with an intervention to help these kids. Instead of trying to find the underlying reason why Johnny's acting like that, all they want to do is shove Johnny into the corner, put him in an isolation room, put medication on him, and turn these kids into zombies. And this is where I am against. Because I'm all about, okay, let's find a natural way. Because all these kids need, all these youth need is love.
Love and
I mean, don't you need love? Don't you need love? Right?
Exactly.
We all need love.
We want that love, attention, support.
Exactly. Don't only love somebody when they're good. Love them in their hard times.
That's what I tell people. I'm like, with mental health, there's so much pressures, and people forget that that happens when a kid. You're developing, you're trying to figure out who you are. Your voice is changing, your height's changing, your weight's changing. So much different things. And because we're adults, sometimes we look down at them and be like, you're not facing anything. But they are. The whole world is changing in front of them. So to be able to see that and be able to say, I know what you're going through, let me help you, that's very important.
Deep. That's deep.
That's great. I love that. That's perfect. And so, being in the community, do you see our shortcomings in the Ghanaian community with, for sure, one thing is advocating for our children. I feel like sometimes we side with the teachers too much and we don't side with our children. Is there any other shortcomings that we can consider with our younger siblings or our future kids, for those watching?
In the Ghanaian community? Okay, well, in the Ghanaian community, I've done a lot of assessment. A lot of assessment around the Ghanaian community. And I find that a lot of parents, right, they don't invest in their children when it comes to academic, tutoring, or any extracurricular activity or anything like that. I find that they invest in things like parties and funerals. Like it's okay to enjoy yourself, but when your home is not in order, that's a problem, right? I feel like if the Ghanaian community were to come together, and I see that they're trying, I really do see it. You know, there's organization like the Ghanaian, right? Oh yeah, I see what they're doing, they're trying. But even that organization, the community is not even helping.
Not putting enough.
It's not putting enough. If you look at communities like the Jewish community, they all come together. Stephanie, you know, they all come together. The GC, what's it?
GCAO.
That's a group of people. I know that group. They have done so much, tried so much, and I've seen it. But the community is not, it's like you're forcing the community to do stuff. They want to build a community center. Why? For how long? The community have to come together and let's build that community center. That's right? It takes a village to raise a child.
And I feel like we've forgotten that.
We've forgotten that.
We're doing things on our own.
Right? No, we've forgotten that. So, I mean, our Ghanaian community kids, they need a lot of help. A lot of them are getting into like fraud and gangs and human trafficking and all that kind of stuff. But the organization that we're talking about, the GCAO, with them, it's like, I see what they're doing. They're doing these, mingling thing. They have like tutoring.
That's right.
I was part of that before, and all that kind of stuff. But it's like we're not really. They're doing it, but it's like they don't have the support from the community. If we had support from the community, Ghana for we will go to the next level. Like the Jewish and the Indians, they all have community centers. The Chinese, they all have community centers. So many. But why we Ghanaians, we are so stagnant? Because we all have individual mindset. When we have a one mindset, the Ghanaian community will take off. Trust me.
Yeah, we need to remember who we are. I feel like we came to Canada and we're just trying to make it. We have our church community. Okay, we can come to church and be there for each other for the funerals or for the baby namings, where we can enjoy ourselves. But we need to be able to support each other so we can go beyond that. Beyond
that, because even the churches are divided.
Yeah,
the churches are divided. Like someone will not come to a certain church because their church is people are gonna get mad. The kingdom is one, and that goes for like the Ghanaian community. We should all come together and let's build this community center with different resources out there. We have computer room. We have a place people can look for a job. We have a place people can relax. We have like a mental health place. we can do it. But when you don't have the support, I'm telling you, you cannot do it. That is one of my struggles when I was doing my businesses, right? There wasn't a lot of support. So now I've gotten used to just doing things on my own, right? Because you asked me, how was I able to do this program, the workshop, right? Because I've gone to point, God is saying, Gifty, just do it. The helpers will come. The helpers will come, right? So we want to wait till somebody gets buried or dies before we say, oh, okay, let's do something. And then after the person's dead for 1 month, everything dies down. That's not consistency. No.
Consistency is key.
Key in everything.
Perfect.
Yeah.
That's great. And so this is just a little bit off track, but I remember you saying at a point in time you wanted to be a principal. Is that still a goal, or have you decided that you're going to go beyond that?
No, I'm done. I don't want to be a principal. You see, life change. You know, that's what I go adapt. I want to be a principal, you know, be the black principal walking down, you know, it looks good. I realized, that's not my purpose. And it's okay. It's okay when things change. Exactly. It's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Right? I love what I do. I love taking care of my babies. I love doing my Airbnbs. I love helping the community. Even the coronavirus time, I went out to give away masks for free. Like, I just love what I do. Principal cannot be in my agenda. I love all the principals, but I'll leave it for somebody else to fill my spot.
That's what you say. Pass it on to someone else.
I stopped, with my goal, and when I do my vision board, and if you guys don't have a vision board, please put together a vision board where you see yourself in the next 5 years. I didn't, the principle was there, but then I had to scratch it off.
Had to fuck that off.
Yeah.
Gotcha. That's perfect. So if you were to go back in time, would you change anything, or would you just continue to do
in terms of business or anything?
Anything, business and with your career now.
No, I wouldn't change anything, but what I wish I would have changed, I can change, was my surroundings. Because I feel like my surroundings pull me back a bit. Because I was easily influenced.
Oh, okay. I have a problem with that a little bit too.
Like, literally, you tell me to jump, I'll ask you how high. Yeah. But the thing is, when you're easily influenced, you are going to delay your purpose. So I wish I didn't date some kind of people. I wish I didn't hang around with some kind of people. I wish I was to actually just, focus on myself at a younger age. But it's okay. Once you realize, you just move on and you try again.
Stay focused on going to your purpose.
Right.
That's great. Perfect. And so we're just going to wrap things up, but you've shared a lot of gems, a lot of messages. I was wondering if you have any other personal things that you learned about yourself that you're proud of, that you hope that other people can see in themselves too.
Well, you know what? I'm proud of myself. Listen, I've come a long way. If you were to hear my story, you'd be like, wow, how did she make it? Through my pain is where I developed my passion. Through my pain. So don't let your pain get you to a point where you're stuck. Use your pain to kind of charge you up for your passion. And now I sit here and I'm like, you know what, God, all glory goes to you. Because now I'm a bold individual. I know who I am. Nobody can come to me and change that. You understand? And I'm so happy I'm able to help so much people. And the only thing I'm going to say to you all is that focus on your growth. Water yourself. Focus on your growth. Everything else will fall in place, right? And just remember who you are as an individual. Because if you don't know who you are, you'll break down. Know who you are. I know who I am. Did I know who I was before? No. Right? Before I was broken. Before I was all over the place. But now I know who I am. Fulfill your purpose. Don't go get buried with all your purpose and God-given gifts. Let everything out. And don't let fear stop you. Don't let fear cripple you. And that's one word I want to say, right? Because a lot of times we let fear, we want to do something, but fear is making us do this, right? But no, be bold and go. Even if you make a mistake, it's better that you did it and not do it at all.
Know that at least you tried.
At least you tried, Stephanie, right? So that's all I gotta say.
That's great. Thank you. You dropped a lot of gems. I'm feeling inspired. Hopefully you guys are all feeling inspired.
I hope so, Because I'm dropping.
She's dropping some gems. Come back and rewatch this, guys.
Yeah.
That's great. Perfect. So where can we find you? If people can link up with you.
Right. Social media, you can find me Facebook, Gifty Abna. My business page, Futuristic Kids. And also where I do my buy and sell gift mart. Because right now I'm competing with Walmart. I'm taking over Walmart.
That's Walmart. Yes.
But I'm inspired by Walmart. I love Walmart. And what else? That's it. I mean, that's what I'm doing now. And my Airbnbs. But yeah.
We'll see that on the app.
The description, yeah.
Perfect. That's awesome. So we'll drop that below. Reach out to Gifty anytime. Reach out to me if you need to connect to Gifty because she has a lot to share. And we'll see you on another episode of Pursuing Purpose where we speak about people's skills, interests, and passions that get them to the person they're meant to be. Thank you, everyone.